Hi everyone, this is Callie. Thanks for being here with me today. I have such a fun project to share with you today, and I'm excited to get started. We have these embroidery hoop ornaments that I created from lots of different Lawn Fawn products. So before we get started, just wanted to show you a close-up of what we're doing. I have these 4-inch embroidery hoops that I've decorated with a plethora of Lawn Fawn dies and stamped images. So we'll start out here by introducing the stamp sets that I'm using. Here we have Yeti or Not, and then we have Winter Skies, and I'll just be using a few images from each to create my scenes. And then we have this favorite Toboggan Together set, as well as the Here We Go, a-waddling set. So again, from each set, I'm just going to stamp enough images to create one small scene for that little 4-inch hoop that we have. From the Yeti or Not set, I've got these 2 Yetis and a Christmas tree, as well as a scarf and a gift. And then from the Winter Sky set, I have 2 little pine trees, the polar bears looking up at the sky with the Santa sleigh going by, and then the Toboggan Together set, I used the deer images because we were going to use the penguin images from the Here We Go, a-waddling set. So I'm going to use the same colors for all of the images to keep things nice and simple. If you want the color combinations, you can pay close attention to the caps at the top of the screen. It is going really fast. Or you can head over to the coordinating blog post for a list of all the color combinations. So for these penguins, for the Here We Go, a-waddling set, I am using some cool grays. And then we will lightly color the inside portions of the penguins with very light, cool gray tones. I never leave things solid white, so I always add a little bit of color. Even if you can barely see it, it really does make an impact on your images. So I'm using a rainbow of colors on all of my images to keep it nice and colorful. So after I'm done with this stamp set, I'm going to go ahead and work on my other stamped panel. And I'll start here with the deer. I won't show the process on the other deer, but it's all the same. I'm laying down the darkest color first, applying a medium color just over that dark color, and then blending it all out with a lighter tone. And if I need to, I'll blend again with the medium, then the light, with that lightest color taking up approximately 75% of the image, I would say. That creates a nice light body, nice highlight, if that's the style of coloring that you're going for. There are lots of different styles of coloring, so I'm not saying this is the way to color, it's just how I do it. So I wanted to share that process in case you're interested and curious about it. So I'm working on my Yeti now. They can be grays or blues or purples, lots of different colors that you can use depending on how whimsy you want your coloring to be. I decided to make my Yetis a soft light blue, and then for their faces and little horns, I did a light gray. So on the polar bears, I'm doing the same thing. I could have done light grays as well, but I decided to keep my markers the same colors as the Yetis just to make everything a little bit more cohesive. And then I'll finish with the scarves with a bright red. And I feel like these pops of reds really tie all of the ornaments together with the bows that I'm going to put on them and the sentiments that I'm going to be using. So here we have some 4-inch embroidery hoops. I got these off Amazon, but you can find them at local craft stores as well. I just bought them in bulk in a set of 10, and that way I can make more if I want to at another time. So I have a circle stackable die here, and they're slightly bigger than the inside of our embroidery hoop. So that's going to create backgrounds for us, and that's what I'm doing now. I'm going to ink blend 4 different color combinations, and I won't show it all in the entire video. It's just a lot of the same ink blending techniques. But in the next screen, I'll be able to show you what colors were used, so you can take a screenshot if you want, or again, you can rely on the coordinating blog post for more information. And so now I'm going to take this circle stackable die and I'm going to die cut all 4 rounds out of these ink blended panels. Then I'll splatter them with white paint to mimic some snow, and then I'll move them so that I can clean off my work surface before we start the next step in the process. Okay, so now I want to create some snowdrifts for my background to create each of my scenes. I have 2 of the border dies from the Stitched Hillside Border set, and I'm just going to die cut the more wavy one higher for the back, and then a little smaller slope or hillside for the front. And then we'll use that same circle stackable die that we used to cut out those rounds and die cut these pieces. So if you're bulking like I am and making 4 at a time or more, it's going to be a little bit time consuming to die cut all of these pieces, but I prepped beforehand, so it was very easy to go ahead and put together. I used some residual ink on my blue blending brush and just brushed a little bit of blue color at the top of those snowdrifts. And then the higher, more wavy snowdrifts I am applying directly onto those backgrounds. And then the front snowdrifts are going to be glued to the front of our embroidery hoops. To adhere my backgrounds to these embroidery hoops, I'm using some liquid adhesive, and I'm adding the adhesive to the inner ring of these embroidery hoops and then attaching my background. You can line it up from the back or the front, it doesn't really matter, and then I'm just using a big acrylic block to help me hold those pieces down while they're curing. And I'll go and do that to all 4, so we'll be repeating a lot of steps. And once I'm done with all 4 hoops, I'm going to go ahead and work on those little snowdrifts on the front of or the top of the embroidery hoops. So for this, I'm using some liquid glue again on the backside of those snowdrifts since we don't know how far they're going to extend on the embroidery hoop. So I'm doing it the other way around. You can do it that way for the background too if you'd like. Okay, so all of our snowdrifts are in place. I have the scalloped circle stackables here that I am going to die cut some pixie dust cardstock out of, and we're going to create a nice little frilly border for our ornaments. And then I have Christmas garland and the large wreath die sets, and I'm going to die cut some of these holly, I think, or they're mistletoe leaves, and some dark pink bows to decorate our ornaments. So I did some prepping before I started filming. I have my pixie dust scallop circles as well as some foliage that I die cut in 2 different greens, cilantro and noble fir. And then for the bows, I die cut out of raspberry cardstock. So using some liquid adhesive, again, I attached my scallop circles to the back of my ornaments, and now I'm just creating my bows and putting them together. I'm using this Sizzix forming tool, and that helps me curl the bows so that I don't create any unnecessary bends and folds in the bow while I'm trying to manipulate and curl them back. I'm using some mini adhesive dots to attach the bow curls, and then I'll go ahead and loop that center wrap around the bow and then secure it with a bit of liquid adhesive. And then I'm going to use my little reverse tweezers to help hold that in place while it dries. And then finally, I am using another dot adhesive to adhere those tails onto the bows itself. So once I have all 4 done, I can start constructing my little scenes for each ornament, and then we can decorate our ornament with those foliage and the bows that we created. Okay, so now I'm going to start creating my scenes, and for a lot of these images, they're just going to be hanging over this embroidery hoop, so I'm going to be stacking some foam adhesive to match the height of the embroidery hoop so that we don't get any saggy images or warping from storage. I definitely plan on using these ornaments on my Christmas tree every year, so I hope that this is a project that's going to last for a long time. So I want to make sure that it's created with some quality and assurance that it will last for years to come. So in total, I have 6 layers of foam adhesive. So I just stacked my little rectangles of foam that I cut from my foam roll and just stacked them up and used them underneath the images that sat at the top of my embroidery hoops. Now that my scene is created, I can go ahead and attach my floral or foliage spray at the top of my ornament. And you'll see I have 3 different lengths of sprigs, and I've stacked them so that I have dark, medium, and then dark again, with the longer sprigs at the bottom and then the shortest sprigs at the top. And then I'll cover up where the ends meet with the bow. So that's 1 ornament down, and then we have 3 more to go. So I'll just quickly create these little scenes. Here we're working on the toboggan together images. I have the sleigh string that I'm going to attach to the sled and then attach that to the back of the deer that's dragging his friend. So I'll go ahead and attach that to our little snowdrift, and I've already attached the 6 stacked foam adhesive to the back of each of those deer. And then we'll work on these yeti. There's just a simple tree in the background, and then the yeti have their scarves and presents in hand. And I think this one's got to be my favorite. I just love the lampposts and these 3 little penguins singing their Christmas carols. Okay, so I've gone ahead and finished all of my scenes and attached all of my foliage, and now we're going to work on a sentiment. I have the Mice on Ice set, and I love this word joyful. I love it because I can stamp and emboss it, as well as die cut for a coordinating die, and then we can attach it over the top of our ornaments. And I'm going to go ahead and emboss this with white embossing powder. I'm just heat setting it now, and then I'll die cut all 4 off camera. You can use any sentiment strips that you'd like. I just really love this joyful word, and I think it coordinates perfectly with all of these sentiments. So I'm using some liquid adhesive and adding some adhesive anywhere I think will adhere to the images for more stability and support, like at the top of that Yeti's head. And on this polar bear one, I am attaching it to the bottom. I didn't want to cover up the Santa sleigh at the top, and I'll do the same with the other 2. Now I have these mini snowflakes, and I've die cut them using pixie dust cardstock for some added shimmer and shine, and I'm just going to attach them all over my ornaments in various places. And before we go any further, I should probably say that this project was completely inspired by a gift that I received by my friend Leanne West a few years back. She gave me an ornament similar to this, and I just love it so much. And when I pulled it out of my storage box this year to put on my tree, I just thought I need to create something like this because it's so much fun and it's such a great project and a great gift if you decide to make this for your friends. So I am using some Stickles Moon Dust Gel here. I know that Stickles comes in little bottles, and if you have that, you can surely use it. I just thought it would be easier to create little clumps of snow at the bottom of my scenes, and on my foliage, I'm just kind of brushing it on with my media spatula. So I'll do that on all 4. Again, I'm just grabbing some paste, and I'm just adding little clumps of it at the bottom of my scenes and then kind of brushing it on to the foliage at the top. It just creates a lot of shimmer and shine, some glittery bits. And then last but not least, I'm going to add some little clear confetti sequins. I am putting them over the center of some of my snowflakes and at the bottom of my scenes and on the sides where I've added some paste, and it'll just stick to the paste. I know that this project is very elaborate and there's a lot going on, but just imagine how beautiful this is going to look on any Christmas tree. Anyone you gift these to, or even if you decide to keep them, they're going to love this project and they're going to cherish all the effort that you put into it, not to mention how fun it is to create and put together. I'm so happy with how they turned out. So now that all 4 of our scenes are created, I just need to attach some hangers so that they can be used as ornaments. I have 4 strands of twine, and I'm just tying a loop at the end after looping them together, and then I'm going to feed them through the back of that embroidery hoop screw, and then I'll use my tweezers to pull them through the hoop and then attach them so that they're secured onto the metal brackets. And that will complete your ornament. Now, right now it's still kind of wet, so you can hold off and string it once everything is dry. But for the purpose of this video, I'm trying to be very careful not to get some of that Stickles Moon Dust Gel all over my hands. And there you have it, 4 embroidery hoop ornaments created from a multitude of Lawn Fawn products. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe if you're not already a subscriber. I'll be linking 2 more videos for you to enjoy if you'd like to see more. Otherwise, I hope you all have a safe and wonderful holiday season. Bye everyone!